Hello, everyone. Welcome to Barca News. It is May 10th, 2024, and Xavi Simons is insisting on coming to Barcelona. Also, Estevao Willian, aka Messinho, could still come to the club despite the news of him reaching an agreement with Chelsea. And finally, Barcelona have made Nico Williams their number one priority. We have a lot to discuss. So let's begin. Hello everyone, welcome to the channel. My name is Mo and this is the Barca News live podcast, which is on every Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where not only do I get to share Barcelona news with you, but I also get to interact with you lovely people in the chat section by reading your comments out loud, answering any questions, and getting a discussion going. In fact, podcast days are my favorite days. So let's go. So before we begin, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and drop a comment. All of this helps the channel continue to grow. And of course, if you are looking for any Barcelona jerseys or merchandise, make sure you hit the kit bag. And if you are looking to place any sports bets, make sure you head to Bet Us. Both links are down below in the description. Now let's begin with brief news, because we do have a lot of crazy news today about Xavi Simons, Messinho, Nico Williams. But let's start with two brief news. The first one is that today, Girona drew with Alaves 2-2. They're actually winning for most of the match, and they're in stoppage time. Alaves scored the tying goal, and as such, Girona have dropped points. And why do we care? We care because Barcelona need to finish second on La Liga table for two reasons. The first one is to qualify to the Spanish Super Cup, which that's automatic 6 million euros for Barcelona. And the second reason is because if Barcelona finished third rather than second, they would miss out on 7.5 million euros from TV rights. So that's close to 14 million euros that Barcelona would lose if they don't finish second. Now, this is how the table is currently looking. Barcelona in third place with 73 points and Girona in second place with 75 points. So if Barcelona win on Monday, which we play against Real Sociedad, then Barcelona would have 76 to Girona's 75. So this is where we at, ladies and gentlemen. We are at the point where we have to hope and pray that a team as small as Girona, with 60 million euro a year budget, drops points. Thanks a lot, Xavi Hernandez. But this is where we at. Anyways, more news, because speaking of Xavi, you know that one of his requests is the pivot position to be reinforced, and one player that has been considered a lot is, of course, Joshua Kimmich, who Barcelona have been tracking for quite some time, but now it's looking more and more possible since Joshua Kimmich is not looking to renew his contract with Bayern Munich. His contract expires in the summer of 2025, and if he doesn't renew, Bayern Munich will be forced to sell him this summer, because if not, that means that Kimmich would leave the following summer as a free agent. So it's looking more and more likely that Bayern Munich will be placing Kimmich on the market as Kimmich is looking to leave. And now, and you might say, well, how is this news? Well, it's news because we now know approximately how much money the German midfielder would cost. And reports are saying that Bayern Munich would want around 35 million euros for the 29-year-old midfielder. Now, I'm curious to hear you guys' thoughts. Would you sign Joshua Kimmich for around 35 million euros? Now, remember, Bayern Munich are saying 35. That means there's a chance that that could be negotiated down, maybe 30, 25. That's very highly unlikely, but it's a possibility. So I would say maybe more around 30. Would you sign Joshua Kimmich for around 30, 35 million euros? Let me know in the chat section or in the comment section if you're watching this live stream once it ends. And now let's begin with the chat section before we talk about Xavi Simons. By the way, I'm still sick, so it's going to be a lot of coughing. I apologize about that in advance. This is actually the worst part of being sick for me, is the cough. Once I get sick, whether it's the cold, the flu, or COVID, I cough for like a month or two after, and it sucks. It doesn't even let me sleep. So I do apologize in advance. But let's do the chat section. We do have David Blandon who says, Piqué said to sell Frankie and buy Verts. Do you think that's a good idea? Honestly, I haven't heard that, so I don't know if Piqué said that or not. If you say so, I trust you. I believe you. But 100%, I wouldn't even think about it. To sell Frankie and bring Verts instead? Absolutely. 100%. I think Verts has shown us that he's definitely one of the future top players of the world. He's only 20 years old, and he's already doing things that Frankie never did at Barcelona, that he did with Ajax, but not at Barcelona. So absolutely, 100%. Because remember, Frankie has already reached his prime. That means Frankie's not going to get better. What we're seeing from Frankie, that's all we're going to get. Verts, we're already seeing amazing things, and he's only 20. I think 20, 21. That means he's only going to keep getting better and better and better. And if we're already seeing amazing things from him, just imagine what better is going to look like. Klaus says, has he not chosen Chelsea? I'm guessing you're talking about Messinho. Hanging tight, my friend, because I have some crazy news for you about Messinho. Asap says, Jonathan David is a perfect replacement for Lewandowski and a perfect striker for Barca style, in my opinion. He is a Barca fan. What is your opinion, Mo? Well, my opinion is that Barcelona have already chosen their two replacements in case Lewandowski leaves, which will be either Darwin Núñez, and if Darwin Núñez does not work out, it will be Alexander Isaac. I do that a lot. In my line of work, we always do last name first, then first name. A lot of times I mix them up. But those are the two. I think it's a stupid thing. Anyway, we have a replacement for Lewandowski. His name is Vitor effing Roque. That's why the club spent all that money on him. That's why the club brought him earlier than they were supposed to, so he could be Lewandowski's replacement. The fact that Barcelona is even considering signing a replacement for Lewandowski is stupidity at the highest level. Why spend all that money on someone's replacement just to start looking for that replacement somewhere else? I don't understand, but this is where we at. And Tapit says, Vinny violated this man. We don't need him. We should be thanking Vinny for that. Who are we talking about? Oh, Kimmich? I mean, I guess. Let's see. Because we do, Madrid's getting Mbappe, and we're doing Sergio Roberto and keeping Ferran Torres. By the way, where's everybody getting this news from? I've been seeing a lot of comments. People like, oh, Ferran, they're making him top priority. No one is doing that. I don't know where people are getting this news from. I don't know if someone wrote it on Twitter somewhere, and then it's just caught on, because a lot of times news seems to spread that way. Someone random writes something on Twitter, whether it's true or not, and then everybody just repeats it. No one is making Ferran a priority. Ferran hasn't even played this season. I don't know if you guys even noticed that. He's barely had any minutes. Barcelona tried to sell him last summer. He wouldn't leave. That's why he stayed. Most likely they're going to try to sell him this summer too. So let's stop parroting the same fake news that I don't know where people got from, that somehow Barcelona are making Ferran a top priority, or that Barcelona like Ferran. Barcelona haven't counted on Ferran for a very long time, pretty much since his arrival. So let's stop spreading that fake news, please. As far as Madrid getting Mbappe, look, Barcelona have never had to sign the best players in order to compete. Let's remember Real Madrid Galacticos. They signed the best in the world at the time. Ronaldo Nazario, Beckham, Figo, Zidane, and we were still able to compete with them, right? Pep Guardiola's Barca did not need to sign the best in the world. We got him out of the Masia. It was Real Madrid who had to continuously sign the best in the world, best players, best coaches, to try to compete with us. We have never had to sign the best players in order to compete with Madrid. We've only had to play better. We've done that in the past on many occasions. We'll do it again. And we're seeing that La Masia never fails. La Masia continues to produce top talent. So am I worried about Madrid signing Mbappe? Absolutely not. We've seen this time and time again, Madrid signing the best of the best, and we've always been able to compete with them regardless. So no, I'm not worried. If you are, That's your prerogative. But please stop repeating the same fake news that somehow Barcelona like Ferran. That's not true. And anyways, speaking of signings, let's move on to Xavi Simons, because it's been a roller coaster of news, ups and downs and ups and downs. One day it's good news, the next day it's bad news. But I do have an update for you because, as you know, Xavi Simons has a contract with PSG until 2027. He's currently on loan with Leipzig, but he's going back to PSG in the summer. Luis Enrique would like to try him out in the preseason, but it's looking most likely that PSG is not going to be counting on him, and he's going to be leaving once again. Now, Leipzig want to sign him on a permanent transfer. PSG wants 60 million euros, and this is where the new news comes in. It seems that Leipzig cannot afford the 60 million euros, and also, despite Leipzig wanting to make Xavi Simons their star and wanting him to sign on a permanent transfer so he can be the star of the team, Xavi Simons continues to prioritize Barcelona. Now, we already know about the clause that I told you about a few videos ago that Xavi Simons has in his contract, which states that if he is to go out on loan, he can choose which club he can go to. So to put it all together, if Leipzig want to keep him, but if they can't afford him and the player doesn't want to go there, then PSG are stuck with Xavi Simons. And since they don't want him, they're going to have to send him out on loan. And since Xavi Simons has a clause that lets him choose where he goes on loan, he's going to choose Barcelona because that's where he wants to go. And Xavi would like to have Xavi Simons on his team. So it's once again looking very likely that Barcelona could sign Xavi Simons this summer on a loan. Now, it seems that Xavi Simons, through his contract, can also choose whether he is sold or loaned. That's another thing. So, in other words, he could be like, I don't care if Leipzig want me. I want to go out on loan, and I want to go out on loan to Barcelona. PSG have to listen to him. They have to, respect his wishes, and he would be forced to send Xavi Simons our way, which, again, Xavi would like to have him, and the player has been dying to come back to Barcelona ever since he left Barcelona. He came up through La Masia. He is named Xavi because of Xavi. So the player has always wanted to come back, and it looks like he will do everything in his power to come back. So once again, it's looking more and more likely that Xavi Simons could be coming our way. Now, I personally am excited about this possibility. I think Xavi Simons is it would be a big boost to our midfield. He's a very dynamic player. One of the big La Masia jewels that when he left, I was really disappointed. And to have the opportunity to have him back now that he's matured a lot more, that he's gotten a lot better, learned a lot more, I think he'd be awesome, especially since it's on loan, We won't have to spend money. Of course, Barcelona would have to cover his salary. So I think that would be great. But of course, as always, loans could, they're a double-edged sword, where if it works out great, you're like, all right, awesome. I just got a great season out of this player for free. But then it also means you're going to have to pay a lot of money to sign him on a permanent basis, So where if it fails, yeah, I can buy him for cheap, but he failed as a loan. Why would I buy him for cheap anyway, right? So it's like a double-edged sword, but it is looking more and more likely that Xavi Simons could be coming to Barcelona this summer on loan. I'm curious to hear what you guys' thoughts are, so please let me know in the comment section or in the chat section. And let's head to the chat section to see what you guys are saying, and then we will talk about the bombshell news in regards to Estevao Willian. All right, let's see. All right, Sampana says, I really wouldn't sign Kimmich. He's good, but he's not a proper defensive midfielder. He's just another Frankie de Jong. We should rely on Bernal for the future, and next season keep Christensen and Guido. So Bernal is the plan for the future. No doubt about that. But we're talking about the long-term future. Bernal is not going to be ready in a season or two. We're talking about several seasons down the road. Barcelona want to take their time with him. They want him to mature. They want him to learn, to be ready. Because remember, the pivot position is an incredibly, incredibly important position in the Barcelona scheme of play. You can't just throw anyone in there. And they want Bernal to be 100% ready. They don't want to just, throw him out there and burn him out. And we have a donation. Let's see. Oh, my God. And there we go. It froze on me for a second. Raymond, my friend, thank you so much for the donation. That is incredibly generous of you. Thank you a million times. Thank you. And he sent the super sticker, which my stupid streaming software won't let me see it. But I'll go back and rewatch the live stream to see the super sticker. And I am working on getting another streaming software, by the way, that will let me see the super stickers live. I've complained about my live stream software a lot of times before. You guys are probably sick and tired of hearing about it. I use StreamYard. I hate it. But anyways, I won't bore you more. Thank you again, Raymond, for the donation. And let's see, Bumblebee, who says, I'd love to see Xavi Simons back in the Blaugrana. I agree. And Raymond, who says, let's press the like, folks. Yes, please, guys, press the like. It's the best way to support the channel, besides subscribing, of course. Because when you hit the like button, it prompts the YouTube algorithm to recommend the video to people who've never seen the channel or my videos. All right, let's see. One more, and then we'll... Sorry, guys. I told you I'm going to be coughing a lot. But Deadpool says, by the way, Mo, I have a question before this. You said that Deco have a good influence in Brazilian market, right? Why I don't hear any other option besides Messinho, like Gabriel Mick or Wesley? So, well, my friend, I don't know. You'll have to ask the club. You have to ask Deco. Can't answer those questions. But yeah. Anyways, all right, let's see. Let's get back to the news because I got a crazy news for you about Messinho. All right, let's talk about Estevao Willian, a.k.a. Messinho, who just recently was announced that he had reached a verbal agreement to join Chelsea in the summer of 2025, which is when the Brazilian wonder kid will be turning 18 years old, because as you know, under FIFA rules, you cannot make the jump from Brazil to Europe unless you are 18 years of age. Now, what's the news? Well, let's rewind a little bit. Part of this verbal agreement is that Chelsea are going to be paying around 30 million euros plus variables, and they're going to be paying those 30 million euros in installment plans. So pretty much the same deal that Barcelona negotiated for Vitor Roque when they signed him from Atlético Paranaense. So it wasn't the 60 million euros that we were told. It's 30 plus variables in installment plans, which again, the same deal that Barcelona agreed to sign Vitor Roque from Atlético Paranaense. Now, once this news broke that Messinho had reached a verbal agreement with Chelsea for pretty much the same thing that Barcelona paid for Roque, Barcelona picked up the phone, called Messinho's agent Andre Curie and said, what the hell is happening? You know we are tracking this guy. You know we're interested in this guy. How is it that he is going to Chelsea? We need more time in order to, get our finances, everything in place. And Andre Curie's response was, I am sorry, but you are out of time. He brought up the Vitor Roque situation, how Vitor Roque has been treated, where he agreed to wait for Barcelona, rejected all kinds of deals from other clubs, much higher deals from other clubs, only to be benched, and then talks about sending him out on loan. He brought that up, and he said, I'm very sorry, but you are not going to get my help when it comes to Messinho. Now, this is part A of the news. Part B of the news, which is where leaves the door open to Messinho being able to join Barcelona. After Andre Curie told Barcelona, I'm not helping you. You are out of time. He said, however, if you do call Estevao Willian yourself, then he might still want to join your club because Estevao Willian still prioritizes Barcelona. So Andre Curie saying, I'm not going to help you. I'm sorry. I saw what you did to my client Vitor Roque. However, if you call Estevao Willian directly, most likely he will still choose you because he still wants to go to Barcelona. But it's up to you to make that phone call. I am not going to help you. I helped you with Vitor Roque. Look where that got me. You're on your own. But if you call the player, he could still choose you. So, Barcelona still have an option at Estevao Willian. However, they are going to have to act fast. Otherwise, that deal with Chelsea will materialize. Because right now it's just a verbal agreement. Nothing's written, nothing's on paper. Estevao Willian could change his mind. Remember, Barcelona reached a verbal agreement with Bergvall, and he ended up, joining Tottenham. Almost forgot. Irrelevant club. Anyways. So there's still a chance there. Now, will Barcelona act on this? I don't know. Because let's remember, Estevao Willian was never a priority for the club because, we have someone called Lamine Yamal who plays in the same position. And if we were to bring Estevao for the midfield, where he has started playing more as an attacking midfielder, remember, as far as the midfield, the number one priority is the pivot, not an attacking midfielder, which is the other position that Estevao Willian plays in. So that's the news. Bombshell news. Crazy news. I'm curious to hear what you guys' thoughts are. Do you think Barcelona should still try to sign him? Or do you think those 30 million plus variables should be spent somewhere else? Because remember, Barcelona don't have infinite money. They have very limited resources. They're saying Barcelona will have around 60 million this summer to spend. Should they spend half of that on Estevao? Or should they focus on the pivot and the left wing? Because remember, unlike other summers, these positions are mutually exclusive. Where if you sign one, you can't sign for the other, right? So let me know down below in the chat section or in the comment section if you're watching this when it ends. All right, let's see. What is everyone saying? We have another donation. Come on. There we go. Oh, here we go. Sanjogo says people are talking about Mbappe joining Madrid, but they don't understand how it's not normal for a 16-year-old to play like that against top teams. 100% agree with you. Like I said, Mbappe joining Real Madrid is not the end of the world. Madrid have always signed the best players, and we have always been able to compete with them. We don't need the best players. We just need to play as the best. Unfortunately, that's not going to happen under Xavi, or maybe it will. I don't know. I hope I'm wrong. Maybe next season, Xavi figures out the formula, something. But we have been down this road before. I'm not worried. I'm more worried about Bellingham than I am worried about Mbappe. Not to say that Bellingham is better, because Mbappe is, but right now there are two different stages of their careers. Bellingham right now is hungry to win trophies with his team. He's hungry to prove himself. Mbappe right now, he's just worried about his individual trophies, about his own glory. And I'm more worried about a player who's hungry to make it and hungry to prove himself as a team than someone who's just chasing individual trophies. All right, let's see. David says, knowing how much PSG hates us, they will demand a hood loan fee. A loan fee. Maybe, but I don't know. I guess it would also depend on that clause that allows Xavi Simons to pick which club he goes to on loan. I don't know if that clause maybe says something about a fee or not. We'll see. Plus, remember, it's kind of like the story with the Joaos, right? People used to say, all the power is with Atletico Madrid as far as Felix, or Manchester City as far as Cancelo. Here in PSG, it's the same thing. Not all the power is in there with them, because if they don't want Xavi Simons and they tell Barcelona, okay, you got to pay a fee, Barcelona say, sorry, we don't have the money. Now they're also stuck with a player they don't want. So, the power is not entirely theirs. Barcelona does have some leverage as well. But we'll have to wait and see. Bumblebee says, do you think that if Barca hadn't made it past PSG in the Champions League, they could have beat Dortmund in 2 legs, considering they absolutely shut out PSG over 2 legs in the semis? That's tough. Have we played against Dortmund like we played against PSG the first leg? I think so. If we played Dortmund like the way we played the second leg against PSG? Absolutely not. But I also have that. The problem also is we've always struggled against low block defenses, and we've seen how Dortmund are pretty great at it. So that's a tough question. But I think had we played the same as the first leg against PSG, I think, yes, there would have been a chance. But, at this point, it doesn't matter because we are where we are, my friend. Counting points and hoping to finish second. Not champions, second. It's like when Barcelona made it to quarterfinals. Everybody's like, Xavi's the best. We made it to quarterfinals. And I used to say, okay, I'm happy that we made it to quarterfinals. But let's not forget, quarterfinals should never be the goal. It should be the expectation. We're talking about FC Barcelona. Quarterfinals means you the top 8 in Europe. And you're telling me that Barcelona should not be top 8? I'm not telling you the best or not even top 3 or top 5. Top 8? Telling Barcelona cannot be top 8 every season? But then they'll be like, no, you're toxic. Well, here we go. This is where we at, All right, let's see. Let's get back to the news. Wait, what is happening? There we go. Okay. Because we do have to talk about Nico Williams. Because Barcelona have now officially made him the number 1 priority signing for the club. Now, there are 2 priorities. Well, that's, I guess, 4. 2 priorities. One is the pivot position, right? Now, when it comes to the pivot position, there's different options, right? Maybe Subimendi, maybe Kimmich, maybe someone else. There's Onana if we want a more defensive midfielder. There's Kefren Turam if we can't get to Onana. There's different options that Barcelona are considering for the pivot position. That's one of the priorities. The other priority is the left wing. And when it comes to that priority, there is no options. Barcelona have decided that Nico Williams will be the left wing signing. Period. This is not maybe Kimmich, maybe Subimendi. No. This is Nico Williams, and that's it. So Barcelona's both priorities are someone, we don't know who, for the pivot, and Nico Williams for the left wing. And that's what the club have decided. Now, Barcelona have been tracking Nico Williams for quite some time. Deco is the one who's insisting on him. He believes that Nico Williams is the number 1 option for that position, not because so much of what kind of player Nico Williams is, but what kind of player he could become. Because Deco trusts Nico Williams' skills and gift and talent and believes that Nico Williams is going to be even a better player down the road. He already likes him. He already thinks he's very talented, but he believes that he's going to be even better. So he wants to sign him for his potential, not just for what kind of player he is right now. And if Barcelona can sign him this summer, they will. If not, they'll do it in 2025. But Barcelona will try to sign him this summer. It would all depend on the financial fair play calculation. As you already know, Barcelona have submitted all the paperwork to La Liga. They're awaiting La Liga's response to tell them whether they're going to be on the 1-to-1 rule, how much margin they're going to have to sign, how much margin they're going to have on their wage bill, etc. So for now, we don't know if Barcelona will be able to make the signing this summer or not. But we do know that Barcelona will for sure try to sign Nico Williams. Now, it seems that Barcelona have this operation under control because they have been in constant communication with the player. And during these several conversations that the club have had with Nico Williams, the player has made it very clear that he too wants to come to Barcelona for several reasons. I mean, besides being at Barcelona, he also wants to come here because he has a lot of friends here. You know, Alejandro Balde, Lamine Yamal, Kouarsi, they're all very close. Also, he wants to be part of this new Barca. He knows the club are struggling. He knows the project is being built. He wants to be a part of that because, as I've explained several videos ago, that's how great players operate. When a lot of people were saying no one is going to want to come to Barca, I said actually the opposite. Great players want to go to teams that are struggling and then bring them up and be like, I was the star of that team. I'm the one who contributed to that team being great again, versus coming to a team that's already great, that's already winning, that's already accumulating trophies. You're just another guy who came and went and nobody's going to remember you, versus going to a team that's struggling and being the reason for that team succeeding again, right? So the project is very appealing to Nico Williams. He wants to come to Barcelona. Barcelona want him. They've been in conversations on several occasions, and Barcelona have this operation under control, and Nico Williams will be most likely, of course, depending on how economy, financial fair play, etc. All that aside, he is Barcelona's number one priority for the left wing. All right. Jesus. All right. Let's do more comments, and then we will end the live stream because that's all the news for today. Well, not for today, for this live stream. I'm going to make another video with some more news. But let's see. Sampana says Xavi has an obsession with Lewa or Smith because he is why Roque is not playing, and he's the reason we might lose Estevao now. Oh, or something. Lewa or something. I don't think it's an obsession. I think he looks at Lewy as, you know, veteran player with the most experience. You know. I mean, don't get me wrong. I do think that Xavi should have subbed out Lewy a lot of times. But also don't look at it like absolutely crazy that Xavi has counted on Lewy. I mean, if you want to, on paper, who are you going to count on in an important match? One of the greatest strikers of our generation, or a 19-year-old who hasn't proven anything, right? Again, I agree that Xavi should have subbed out Lewandowski in several occasions and should have brought in Vitor Roque or Margiu or, I don't know, his brother, Oscar Hernandez, someone, because there were some matches where Lewy was like completely ghost. So I agree with that. But it's also not completely crazy to put yourself in Xavi's shoes and think, okay, who am I going to count on? One of the greatest strikers of our generation? Or 19-year-old who just arrived from Brazil? You know, it's not completely crazy for Xavi to want always to count on Lewy. All right, let's see. What else? FC Barcelona fan channel says, due to Barca's bad form, I'm thinking of changing my sport into badminton. I don't know. I think ping pong would be more fun than badminton, but that's because it's faster. But hey, you do you, man. You do you. Bumblebee says, I'm feeling my gut that Barca are about to try to have a fire sale on players in order to sign priorities. Honestly, that's the only way we'll sign these dreams. I don't think so. I mean, there's definitely some players who will be on the chopping block. You know, Alonso's leaving. Romeo will be sold back to Girona. Looks like Eric will most likely be sold if Inigo stays. Rafinha, if Barcelona get a good offer for him, I'm sure Barcelona will sell. Same with Ferran. Who else? Lewy, they're not going to try to force out, but if a good offer comes for him and he says yes, obviously Barcelona will be more than happy to sell. But I don't see that happening. I think Lewandowski's going to stay, especially because, you know, his wife is about to open a gym or some kind of company she's about to open in the city of Barcelona. So I don't see them leaving. So, what other players? But yeah. Let's see. What else? Carrie says, Mo, I hope I don't catch your cold through the camera. Don't worry. I turned that option off. My camera asked me, would you like to block your illness? I put yes. So you're fine. FC Barcelona channel says, Mo, do you think front line of Rafinha, Anthony, and Richarlison will be world-class and better than MSN? Nothing that contains Rafinha will ever be world-class, or Anthony, or Richarlison. I mean, maybe in third division, but I don't know. David says, can all the Barca fan channels come together and start a GoFundMe for Barca? Not a bad plan. Look, there's an estimate that there's around 200 million Barcelona fans around the globe. 200 million. If each fan donated $1, it would be, 200 million for Barca. That would, 100 would go to solve the financial fair play. Assume the other 100 would be for signings. And then if Nike brings in their 100, now we have 200 for signing. And then if we do end up selling Barca Vision shares that belong to Libero, now we're talking about 300 million for signings. We would be able to do some damage. We'll be able to bring, Subimendi, which is Xavi's number one option. We'll be able to bring Verts, Nico Williams, Messinho. We'll be able to do some damage. Sanjog says, Xavi prefers two types of players. Players who have great experience at top teams in the world and top Barca academy talents, but he seems not to do well with top non-Barca youngsters. I think Xavi just does well with top players. And, well, because it's not really. And that's what I've said so many times before. This is why I don't think Xavi can build a project. Because Xavi just wants 11 Mbappes with another 11 Mbappes on the bench to rotate. And it's like anybody can build a winning team out of 11 Mbappes, right? Give me 11 Mbappes and I'll win you some trophies. And I don't know anything about coaching. And that's why I've always said he's not a coach that knows how to build a project, because a coach that knows how to build a project builds a project with what he's given. You tell me Mitchell has 11 Mbappes. He doesn't. He has a budget of 60 million a year, and he's been able to beat us twice, right? But I was called toxic and hater and blah, blah, blah. And what do I know, right? King City says, Mo, Rafinha was world-class against PSG. First leg. Okay. I think I made this point a million times. A great performance does not make you a great player. Every player will have a great performance. Remember when we first signed Braithwaite? He started that. I can't remember who we played against. He scored 2 goals. He almost scored a hat trick. Is Braithwaite world class? No. Every player is bound to have a great performance. Every player. No matter how good or bad you are. That does not make you great. A great player is someone who can give you great performances 70, 80% of the time. Not 100, because that's impossible. Not even Messi gave us great performances 100% of the time. But 70, 80% of the time, that's a great player. Someone who gives you 1, 2, 3 great matches, that's not a great player. Okay? Mid-table players, they give you about 50% great performances. And then bottom of the table players, they give you maybe like 20%. Right? Sure, Rafinha's had great matches. That doesn't make him a great player. If he's consistent, gives you majority of the season, great, absolutely. But that has not happened. That has not happened his first season. That has not happened his second season. And that's not going to happen. He's already 27. He's in his prime. It's not going to happen because he is not a world-class player. Sure, he was great with Leeds, but some players, that's as high as they go, being great at a mid-table team. Look at Valencia. They're full of those kind of players, right? Iago Aspas. Those kind of players will always be great in mid-table teams. As soon as you take them out on a mid-table team, they get lost because that's their level. So, anyways, Ross says, hi, Mo. Hope you good. I'm not. I'm sick, but thank you. I agree with you on Bernardo Silva being older and not cheap. He has achieved it all and all, so perhaps not the best financial choice to make. But who else? I mean, I would rather bring in Xavi Simons on loan than spend 60 million on Bernardo Silva. Not to say that Xavi Simons is better. Of course not. Bernardo Silva's better, more experience, etc. But what bothers me is the 60 million. It just doesn't make sense to spend 60 million on a 30-year-old. If he was to come for free like Gundogan, but absolutely, 100%. Come, please. I'll go pick him up from the airport myself. But not for 60. Not for 60. Wendell says, Xavi lacks experience and he can't motivate his players. And personally, I believe we won't win any trophies soon. Xavi neglect his guys and argue with referees. Yeah, I agree. But people said, wait, Mo. Xavi quit so he can motivate his players. People honestly believe that. And I'm like, in what fucking world do you need to quit to motivate your players? I've never seen that in my life. Not in football, not in basketball, not in any sport, not in the world. I've never seen the CEO of Apple announcing his resignation so he can boost the sales of Apple. It's the craziest fucking thing. And Xavi told us that. And people bought it. I'm going to go tomorrow and quit my job in hopes that my work is going to get better. And then tell my boss, sorry, I was just trying to get my productivity up. That's why I quit. Sometimes when I read these comments, I'm like, what the fuck are you on? Sorry for cursing, but I've read some pretty crazy shit. Like that shit what people will say to defend Xavi is mind-blowing. He quit so his team can win. What? How do you even buy that? I know Xavi said it, but how the fuck do you even buy that? Anyways. Bumblebee says, Xavi's more focused on throwing tantrums and blaming refs. Couldn't get us on a wet paper bag. Yeah. Anyways. That is it, guys. You guys are absolutely amazing. You guys are the best. Podcast days are my favorite days because I get to interact with you wonderful people. So thank you for tuning in, for your comments. I'm going to be posting another video after this. There's still more news. I will see you in that video. And as always, be scarce.